Does this work? We're gonna see. Hey guys, late night biology review because I know nothing of cellular respiration, the Krebs cycle, the Calvin cycle, glycolysis. I have my biology end of course tomorrow. So let's get right into that. So obviously I'm gonna get comfortable because it's late. It's late. Um Cellular respiration is, of course, what animals do to turn chemical energy into, or to turn how cells break down glucose and make ATP or energy. So, some plants have photosynthesis, and animals have cellular respiration. But plants also have cellular respiration. So, don't get that confused. And cellular respiration is much more complex than um, photosynthesis, at least in my opinion, to like understand. So we're gonna go through that right now. I really hope we don't have to memorize the equation for cellular respiration or photosynthesis because if we do, I am beyond cooked. Um, Hopefully it's multiple choice though, so you can probably have like a rough idea of what it's gonna be. But it's glucose plus 6 carbon dioxide, or plus 6 oxygen equals 6 carbon dioxide plus 2 or 6 water molecules and roughly 36 to 38 ATP. Put your hands up if you don't know what that means. Honor student, by the way. Um, so the inputs. Oh, so firstly we have, so I guess there's multiple stages of of cellular respiration. The first being glucose. Um, or not glucose. Oh my, I'm off to a rough start. Glycolysis. And it is where glucose is broken down. A 6 carbon sugar molecule is broken down into 2 3 carbon pyruvate molecules. Never heard these words a day in my life, by the way. It occurs. Well, actually, I probably have. I did a review sheet on this a few days ago. It occurs in the cytosol of the cell, like the cytoplasm of the cell, so it doesn't need oxygen. Does not require organelles or oxygen. The inputs are 1 glucose and 2 ATPs. It requires 2 ATPs to start this reaction. And the outputs are 2 pyruvate molecules, 4 ATPs. But the net gain is only 2 because it takes 2 ATPs to make it. The key facts are it takes place in the cytoplasm. It does not require oxygen. It can happen in aerobic or anaerobic respiration, it can happen in aerobic or anaerobic conditions. The net gain is only 2 ATP, and the pyruvate produced moves on to the next stage. So the next part of this is the transition step, which is called pyruvate oxidation, and that is before the Krebs cycle. So Krebs cycle goes with cellular respiration, and it is when pyruvate is transported into the mitochondria and converted into acetyl CoA. This also results in the transfer of electrons to NAD+, storing energy as NADH. NAD. 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 By the way, today's shout out. I don't really know who my subscribers are. Oh, Messiah. I think Messiah subscribed to me. So thank you for all the food you make, Messiah. Thanks for the food. You're the goat. So the third part, but like really the second part, really, I don't think you need to know the pyruvate oxidation, is the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle. And it begins when the acetyl CoA combines with a 4 carbon molecule called OAA. This produces citric acid, which has 6 carbon atoms, which is why they also call it the citric acid cycle. And it's in the mitochondrial matrix, like within the mitochondria. And each turn of the Krebs cycle yields 1 ATP, 3 NADH, 1 FADH, and 2 CO2. Because glycolysis produces 2 pyruvate molecules, the cycle turns twice per glucose because it uses 1 B. I have a 98 biology, guys. I'm just hoping that we're going to be fine. So the inputs of this reaction is 1 acetyl CoA and oxaloctate. The outputs, 2 times for full glucose, is 2 ATPs, 6 NADH, 2 FADH2, and 4 carbon dioxides. Key facts. Here's some key facts. CO2 is released here as waste, which is why when we breathe out carbon dioxide. I may have just made that up just now, but carbon dioxide is released, which is what trees use to create oxygen via photosynthesis. Oh yes, CO2 is what you breathe out when your body undergoes the Krebs cycle. So NADH and FADH2 are electron carriers that carry energy into the next stage. The final step regenerates OAA, the molecule that became the cycle, so it can keep running, yada yada yada, like a wheel. Think about that. Anyways, the next part of the phase is the electron transport chain. And NADH and FADH donate electrons to the ETC, electron transport chain. Electrons are passed through a series of protein complexes, releasing energy used to pump protons into the intermembrane space, creating an electrochemical gradient across the inner mitochondrial membrane, whatever the heck that means. Protons flow back into the... I haven't said the word proton since last year. It's weird coming out of my mouth. Proton. Anyways, protons flow back into the matrix through ATP synthase, driving the synthesis of ATP. This process is called chemiosmosis. The ETC produces around 34 ATP per glucose molecule. So overall, this is what I've gathered. You have glucose, about 1 thing of glucose, which is what, or I guess 6 things of glucose. 1 thing of glucose, and it goes in along with oxygen, and each glucose is creates ATPs, which some carry over to the next stage, some are released through carbon dioxide, and overall, through different cycles, it creates 34 ATP, which is energy that we use, because glucose, we use glucose, which is like sugar. Yeah. And each stage, like glycolysis, happens in the cytoplasm. Krebs cycle happens in the mitochondrial matrix. The ETC happens in the inner mitochondrial membrane. And that's on cellular respiration. Next, photosynthesis, which has the Calvin cycle in it. Let's get into that. Let's deep dive into that. The Calvin cycle is a part of photosynthesis that takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast and converts carbon dioxide and energy from light-dependent reactions, so like when the plant needs sun to function, into glucose and other sugars. So they make the sugars that then they will use during cellular respiration to make energy, which they use energy to, it's a whole chain. That's why they're autotrophs. So the inputs are CO2, ATP, NADPH. ATP and NADPH come from the light reactions. The outputs are G3P to build glucose, ADP, and NADP. The 3 stages. Stage 1, carbon fixation. CO2 is fixed from an inorganic to an organic molecule. The enzyme Rubisco attaches to CO2. RUBP, a 5-carbon molecule, producing an unstable 6. I feel like this isn't necessary. I feel like we don't need to know that. I feel like all we need to know is that it takes 6. It takes 6 turns of the Calvin cycle to produce 1 glucose molecule. These 6 turns require 12 ATP and 12 NADPH in the reduction step, plus 6 ATP in the regeneration step. One in one ear, out the other. I hope that made sense to you, because that made no sense to me. Things to memorize. There we go. Things to memorize. Things to memorize. Greg's pies keep oxidizing. Glycolysis equals cytoplasm. Oh, it's a mnemonic device. Glycolysis, pyruvate oxidation, Krebs oxidative fiber. This is near rough, you see. This is near rough. Fermentation happens when there is no oxygen. Let's glycolysis keep going by recycling NAD. 2 types of lactic acid. Muscle cells and alcoholic yeast. Calvin cycle is not equivalent to dark reactions. It still needs products from light reactions, ATP plus NADPH, to run. The first stable product of the Calvin cycle is the 3-PGA, not glucose. NADH and FADH are electron carriers, not energy directly. They need the ETC. Good luck to all of my friends taking the biology EOC tomorrow. I am going to need it. I know that more than half of the exam is on photosynthesis and stuff. Or I'm pretty sure. I hope it's not, but I'm pretty sure it is. I'm going to pray tonight. And I think I have a stable enough grade to be okay. I learned a lot. I have a great teacher. I just don't know anything about photosynthesis and cellular respiration in depth. I know them enough to get by, but not in depth. I could not take AP Bio right now. This was your video. This was a very rough video. This is one of the videos that did not help me, actually. I know less coming out of it than I did actually going into it. Have a great night. Get some good sleep. To my students that took the exam, to my students that took the AP exam today and are taking the, oh my God bless the people that took the AP Human and AP Gov exam today, and then are taking the Biology EOC tomorrow, and ones that took the Algebra EOC on Friday. Oh, you're my prayers. I'm sorry. I hope this helped.